Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I am here with the all-new 2019 Toyota RAV4, but this is the one that many of you have asked me for, and here we are delivering it to you on Rady's Rides, of course. This is the RAV4 Hybrid XSE trim with that all-wheel drive. So let's talk a little bit about RAV4 history. So the RAV4 been around since the 1990s, if you could believe that. We're now in the 5th generation of the vehicle, and what's interesting is that over time it's adapted to the situations of the car industry. That whole SUV segment has changed throughout the years, and the RAV4 has really always been that go-to for people who want that smaller sort of CUV crossover compact utility vehicle. Now in 2019, Toyota did something very brave. They went with a total redesign. They went a little bit more aggressive, and they have a really great lineup of the RAV4 in different trim levels to really fit every single budget and lifestyle. What Toyota says is that if you want a RAV4 that's going to give you the biggest oomph power-wise, but also maximize your MPGs, this RAV4 Hybrid hits the nail on the head for you. So let's go ahead. We're going to dive right into this all-new RAV4, but this one is the Hybrid XSE trim. So right off the bat, you can see the restyling for 2019. I really like what they did with the headlight design. You have LED headlights up top. As we come down with the front fascia, you can see fog lamps, which is a nice touch. Now, the one thing that's a zonk for me is that I wish that the fog lamps were LEDs as well. They are not. But as we come across the front grille area, this grille is specific to the Hybrid. And you can see that what Toyota does is they use that light blue color to designate the Hybrid. And what I love about it is that they take the light blue, not only is it in the Toyota emblem here, but they've kind of dripped it other places around the car. You got nice gloss black across the midsection here. And I like what's happening, the way they formed the midsection. It's not just a straight piece. I like the way it goes up from one side, drops down the other. Open grille area here, little bit of silver, just to give it that SUV kind of off-road presentation to break up all the different colors. But really, when you look at the front of this, you know it's a Toyota. And if you're wondering, well, hey, it sort of looks a little bit like a Tacoma in a way, they actually took some of the design from the Tacoma and the Tundra to develop the front end of the business here. But very, very sharp looking from this direction. Now, as we go up onto the hood, I like what's happening here. You can see we have some raised sections in the middle, and then a nice, almost like C shape going from one corner to the other, gives it some personality, because I think we could all agree this segment, that CUV segment, is so hotly contested with so many different cars from so many different brands, and the RAV4 is really doing all that it can to be that one that you go to when it comes your big day to buy. Now, when it comes to that gloss black that was on the front, I like what they did by bringing it in around the fender well treatment. One thing I wish they would have done, though, is connected. I wish it would have just been a nice gloss black from down here low into the fender all the way around. Kind of flares it out just a little bit. You have a very tasteful 18-inch wheel. Now, some people, I think, are going to say, how come they didn't go with a 19 or a 20-inch wheel? But you know what? It's a very tasteful design. I think the black works perfectly. One thing I'm going to have Tom zoom in on, a dead giveaway that this is a hybrid with the all-wheel drive and everything, is that blue suspension there. So this has different suspension than your standard RAV4, and that is another way to designate the hybrid from the other vehicles in the trim lineup of the RAV4. Now, what's also interesting, you see how much space there is from the top of the tire to underneath of the fender here. It almost makes it seem like this could really be a go-to if you're the type of person that likes to go, I don't want to say major off-roading, but if you got some kayaks and you need to get down to that special spot that nobody knows about that's off the beaten path, I think that this could really do it for you, especially with the all-wheel drive. Now, when we get into the A-pillar here, I think it was so smart. I like what Toyota does. Black the whole thing out, just all from the A-pillar up on the roof. This one has a beautiful panoramic sunroof, nice and large, easy to use. We have gloss black on the side mirrors and a very, very nice slim and trim turn signal built into that. Really clean look. I really think that Toyota did a great job sideways. Now, what's interesting, and my mom even fell for this, you look at the new RAV4, you say, wow, it's really grown. guess what? This is actually 2 inches shorter than the previous generation. So the way that Toyota has designed the shape, it really gives the perspective of it being larger. When we get inside, you'll see there's plenty of room, but it's actually not larger from the past generation. So I think that's really cool. They did a great job there. I like the gloss black along the bottom portion, especially for a hybrid. The shapes that they're using are very nice and organic, but not too like out of this world where you're like, wow, that is a hybrid vehicle. This thing really blends in with the rest of them. Of course, you have that hybrid logo on the front fender up there. That is a dead giveaway besides the blue suspension to let you know that this has that internal combustion engine with the electric motors. You have the all-wheel drive badge here. Now, I'm a little confused. I am gonna zonk this. I'm a little confused why they placed it here. I feel like it would have done better on the rear tailgate or somewhere else, kind of just like misplaced, but it is the all-wheel drive, and that is one of the things that they really are proud of with this RAV4. Now, as we get to the back, you can see how we have that almost floating roof design that Toyota came out with the Camrys and whatnot. I think with this color combo, this dark gray metallic and the black, spot on. You got the black roof rails, the black shark antenna up there, and the rear quarter window as we go, and you can see up there that panoramic sunroof, but as we drop back down, a little bit of silver trim, and then this rear quarter window is a perfect size to let in just enough light. Now, when we get to the back, very interesting design going on. Now, if you notice, the taillights kind of peek out. For me, I don't really like that design too much, but I really do like the way it's just nice, flat. You get to the rear glass and it just drops down nice and flat. A little bit of silver going across this midsection. Of course, you're gonna have nice LED taillights. They cleared out the third brake light in that low roof spoiler, all black. And then when we drop it down, here's more of that black treatment. The thing that actually put a smile on my face when I got to the back of this hybrid is not only the logo once again, this is the XSE trim, but the exhaust. Most hybrids, they want to hide that exhaust to where they make you think that it's not running on an internal combustion engine. This one, they're proudly placed one on each side, and I think it really just helps with the identity of this particular SUV. It gives it a nice look with twin pipes. Now, let's go ahead. We're gonna pop that hood and check out that power source that's for 2019. All right, guys, we got the hood popped up. There is a prop rod, so I know how many of you feel about that. I would like to see hydraulic struts, but underneath that hood, what are we looking at? You're looking at a 2.5 liter inline four naturally aspirated engine. That's 176 horsepower. Now, when you combine the two electric motors, one up front and one out rear to drive those rear wheels, you're looking at a total of 219 horsepower and 63 pound-feet of torque. When you go hybrid, you're no longer using that 8-speed automatic found in the other RAV4s. You're using a CVT transmission. MPGs, that's gonna be the big one here. 41 in the city, 38 on the highway. This RAV4 weighs about 3,701 pounds. And if you're wondering about towing, this actually does tow more than the gas version. The gas version is 1,500 pounds. This you could do a little bit better, 1,750 pounds. What's interesting about this setup, it's 16 more horsepower than compared to the outgoing generation. So not only did they increase efficiency, not only did they change up the design, but you're also gonna get more power out of the 2019. This one, like I said, is mated to an only CVT transmission. But why don't we go ahead, fire up this RAV4 hybrid and see what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside the 2019 RAV4 Hybrid. I know there's a question on many of your minds. You're saying, Joe, I'm digging this RAV4. How much is it? MSRP, the way that this one sits, remember, it's XSE trim with the hybrid and the all-wheel drive and the whole shebang. You're looking at MSRP $38,294, right around there. Let's see what you get for that price, to the door panel. So I like what's going on here. You know, it's very soft material on the armrest. At the top portion of the door, there's that blue stitching. Remember, only the hybrid versions come with the blue appointments. I like it. It makes the door look a little bit more than just your traditional black plastic and rubber material. I also like the silver trim that starts at the top and then kind of curves down into the handle and goes to, past the switch gear for the window and the locks. And then that speaker cover, it just shows that Toyota was thinking outside the box with different designs and whatnot. I like the RAV4 logo, and I just think that looks innovative, hip, cool, whatever you want to call it. Just something different to kind of spruce things up. Now, when we get to the dash, I like what's going on. It's pushed far forward. This one has the JBL audio system. It's an upgraded system. You get your tweeters and stuff in the actual A-pillars here. Soft material, both top and middle. Silver trim, the blue. Loving the blue. You get a nice little cubby pocket here. You could put your Twinkies. I think you fit probably about 4 Twinkies width-wise in this nice little cubby. Infotainment system, 8-inch screen. It's that iPad style. What's cool about it is very easy to use. So right now I have it obviously showing, listening to 80s on XM. We have no phone connect and we have our map. Now if I want the GPS to be larger, the navigation, I hit that and look, now it's nice and large. Very easy to use. You go back to home, you want your XM larger and all your radio stations and whatnot. Very simple. I like that. So touchscreen, you can see the rubber knobs, real easy to grip and to touch. You have your AC. One area I wish they would have done is taken a little bit of that silver. You know that silver trim that was back over here on the dash and on the door? I wish they would have taken this silver and brought it right here instead of this flat black, because I think that would have made it just look a little bit nicer. So I am going to zonk that. I'm definitely like how easy it is to use the AC controls. Dual climate, you have these very large knobs that also the same design as the radio knobs, so it shows the cohesiveness there. The only thing that gets a little confusing sometimes is the blower switch. I always want to twist one of these, but the blower fan switch is right here, higher, lower. Now, as we work our way down, you do have heated seats, but not ventilated. If you want ventilated seats, you got to go to limited trim. You can conveniently shut off the traction control right here. You got a 12 volt and a USB and an aux jack. Very nicely placed. Wireless cell phone charging, large cubby area. One thing I want to point out about these cubby areas, like here and down here, at night, blue LED lighting because it is a hybrid. The shifter, this is going to be controlling the CVT transmission. Of course, there's blue lighting here as well. I like the nice touches, the silver finish. You got electric e-brake. And one thing that's really cool on the hybrid is that you have basically a mode selector knob here. So you could go into eco, sport, and there's actually a full EV mode that you just press this and you could be in full EV at certain speeds. Also, you have a trail mode, which is very nicely done too. That's something with the all-wheel drive. So lots of usability. If you want to go to normal, you just push it. The cool thing is we can't show you now because it's sunny out, but at night the knob actually changes colors. Anybody want to guess what color it is for eco? Yes, green. Sport, of course, red, and then normal is a blue color. There's that EV. Silver trim, liking it. 2 cup holders with that same design from the speakers and whatnot. And then the armrest. It's nice and soft. I wish they would have put the blue stitching. What happened? Did they run out of blue stitching here? I like to see the blue stitching. You open this up, more USB. You got felt lining in there, which is really nice. And then, of course, we have this new mirror. So just like some other brands are doing electronic rearview mirrors, watch this. So we have the mirror, and then now you flip it and we have our image right out back. Here's something that's really cool with this is that you could actually raise and lower it. So now I'm going to use the buttons. I'm going to raise that camera up or I'm going to lower that camera. Great features in this RAV4. I'm loving it. Toyota, I'm loving it. Remember those commercials? Anyways, to finish it off, of course, these seats. I like what's going on here. The blue stitching, the leather. I even like the design. You know, in the Camry with the red, I actually zonked it. I actually like this fabric design here. It's very, very comfortable. You know, my wife and I rented a RAV4 2019. It was a base model. Not too impressed, but this thing has a lot of nice features. Then, of course, up top, I almost feel like I'm just in a convertible SUV because of this panoramic sunroof and how large the windows are, bringing in lots of light. Why don't you come on over to the business side of things and I'll show you behind the wheel of this RAV4 Hybrid. All right, guys, business side of things in the Hybrid, of course, we have full electric assist, Really wonderful. Get it to fit to the contours of your body. I like this steering wheel actually. The leather's really soft, great thickness. I really think that it's smart the way these buttons are just flush. They're not sticking out, they're not shiny, plasticky material, just nice and flat. Silver trim, attractive horn button, and then I really like the dash, especially at night. You know why? Why? Because it lights up with a lot of blue. On the left, you have an analog Charge Eco Power indicator. In the center, that's a 7-inch LED display, beautiful color, tells you you're in EV mode, all that kind of stuff, what gear you're in. You can see the trail. See how I push trail and then it comes back on? I'll change the mode. See how the speedometer, the outside went to red? Of course, if I go to Eco, you're in that green mode. Or if you press the normal, then it's just clear, but I'll keep it in sport because you know how I am. Analog fuel gauge, temperature gauge, steering wheel, of course, tilts and telescopes. Obviously, I got plenty of headroom here, and the seat is very, very comfortable. I am pleasantly surprised with all of these things. Let's go ahead, check out that back seat, and see how your passenger is going to be loving this RAV4. All right, guys, back seat time in this RAV4. Quite impressed, especially because remember, this vehicle is actually shorter than the outgoing generation, but you can see 6-foot tall Joe Rady, plenty of space here, especially with the nice vitamin D raining upon me through the panoramic sunroof. We have full leather wrapped all the way around the seat. That's how I like it. You got a nice pocket here with felt lining, little command center with 2 AC vents, and then here's what's nice. You got not only 1, but 2 USB. If you're wondering, well, Joe, do you have a lot of leg room in here? Do you have a lot of foot room? Yes, you actually do, because guess what? The batteries, they've been able to slim them down and they're underneath the seat, and that helps keep the floor nice and low so that your knees are not in your mouth. What's in your mouth is probably the Twinkie that you're eating that you're enjoying. Speaking of enjoyment, you flip this down. Yes, Toyota, I love you. Horizontal cup holders. I know somebody made a comment, they're like, don't you have less elbow room? No, we bring it to the end. I got more elbow room than I've had my whole life. So thank you, Toyota, with the RAV4. Nice and soft. Fold this back up. Seats are great. Why don't we go ahead, check out that cargo area and see how usable is this RAV4 Hybrid. All right, guys, time to get into that back cargo area of the RAV4. Before we do, I just want to show off the key fob. I know some of you like to see this. It's got the hybrid colors on it. I like the way it says RAV4. There's the back side. If you want to open it up using this, you just hold it down. Up she goes fairly quickly. Now, what's nice is that this has the convenience of you could actually adjust how much this goes up and how much it goes down. Very nicely, easily done. The instructions are actually right here, which is great. Back area, check it out. Nice and wide, nice and large. You could put anything that you need to back here. Like I said, you got the upgraded JBL sound system. These seats are gonna do the 60-40 split, and to prove it to you, there's one side. I'm gonna come back around. We're gonna do a little tango dance in here. Boom. So you can see just how flat that is. It's actually a lot flatter than in years past. Now, of course, with the batteries and whatnot, that height-wise is gonna make an adjustment, but when you look at overall space, very nice. I even like the cubby over here with the little cargo net that you could put something in there and keep it there so it's not rolling around. You get a nice 12-volt here as well. And of course, the rear security cover so that when somebody is looking in your windows, they can't tell that you just bought a bunch of presents for your girlfriend or your boyfriend. But to close it, just hit that button. And then if you're ready, I'm ready for the best part. Let's take this RAV4 Hybrid for a spin. All right, guys, we're inside the 2019 Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. One thing I wanted to point out, but the engine's kind of running, so it's gonna be a little difficult for me to let you hear it or experience it, is when you put the vehicle in reverse, because when you first start it up, you're in EV mode. And what's surprising is the air kicks on very quickly. It's nice and cool. You could, like I said, you could just have blower speed right here. But when you put the car in reverse, it actually makes this louder whirling sound. Don't be alarmed by that. That's actually to alert people behind you that you're backing up. Now, of course, this has all of Toyota's greatest sensing technology, and I'm telling you, it works really well. Like, I was trying to squeeze this into a tighter spot down in St. Petersburg, and it was clearly telling me where I was close to another vehicle or another object. So it works extremely well for the Toyota products. I'm very impressed by that. But the whirly sound is to let people know that you're backing up and that they need to watch out, because these things, when they're in full EV mode, you can't hear them, really. So pulling away here, very smooth. Now, I know a lot of you are not in love with CVT transmissions. I'm not really the biggest fan, but the primary reason is that with the engine shutting off and turning on at different times that you're actually driving the vehicle, the CVT helps with that transfer from internal combustion to electric motors. Now, visibility, great out the front windshield. Even that back window, very easy to see out of. Side mirrors work great. They're actually quite large. I'm impressed with the mirrors that they have on the RAV4. But Toyota says, and I could attest, I confirm this, you get the Ladies Rides approval that if you want a faster RAV4, this is definitely the way to go, because you're going to spend just a few grand more over an internal combustion engine trim, same trim level, but you're going to have those electric motors to really help out with acceleration. And there is a noticeable change in acceleration. Plus, of course, the MPGs over 40 miles per gallon in the city, which is just mind-blowing to me, especially when it comes to a CUV, SUV type of vehicle. Very easy to drive though, very smooth, very quiet inside. They definitely have raised the bar quite a bit, and I think they had to, because competition has gotten that much more fierce in these different SUV categories, those subcategories. But just very, very smooth. What's nice is you'll see once we get out of this park area that I'm in right now, acceleration wise, you're not getting too much of that CVT engine buzz sound, which, can happen. Very smooth though. Very, very smooth. Very competent. That's what I like about this RAV4. And it feels just like the internal combustion version. That's the thing I think that's best about, is that from a look standpoint, it looks like a RAV4. From a driving standpoint, it just drives like a RAV4. And that's a good thing. All right, guys, pulling away, I want to show you the acceleration of the RAV4 on throttle. I'm telling you right now, between a traditional internal combustion engine RAV4, the gasoline version, and this hybrid, definitely quicker acceleration. Now, it's difficult because with that CVT, you are getting where, the engine revs are kind of climbing and you're not really projecting yourself, extremely forward like you would think, but it's not too bad, to be honest with you. And it is to be expected with it being a hybrid SUV, but it is very smooth, and definitely that electric motor out back, you could feel it bite down and project you forward, which is really, really great. I love the fit and finish everywhere in here. That's a nice thing, except for this one area. My eyes keep going to that flat black, but other than that, things are really, really nicely appointed inside of this RAV4, because remember, it is XSE trim. The only one above it is limited. But very smooth, like I said. Get on throttle. Really, really surprising. And I think Toyota is correct. If you want a RAV4 that's going to accelerate faster and also get you maximum MPGs, this hybrid really does the job well. The big question is the MSRP of $38,000. You compare that to a lot of other vehicles. There's a lot of SUVs that you can get in that segment, but I think from look standpoint, usability standpoint, and all that interior function, of course, you're going to get the reliability that Toyota is known for. So you really can't argue that. Let me see the handling. I'm going to go ahead and get on throttle. Really nice and balanced, and you don't feel like you're bouncing all over the place, which is a very pleasant feeling. And you're getting really nice feedback from the front wheels. It's actually quite surprising, the feedback that you're getting into the steering wheel. Now remember, we do have our control knob here to where we can go into sport. So I just put in a sport, and that's going to give you even a little bit quicker throttle response and whatnot because of how it is adjusting all the different settings. But it's nice to have that flexibility with this vehicle, where not only can you put it in trail mode if you're going off-road, but you also have the different driving modes, which are great to have as well. Let's see this right-hand turn here. Nice and composed, on throttle. And the best part is you're getting that nice, secure all-wheel drive. That's gonna keep you planted and keep you safe. And that's the name of the game at the end of the day, is that Toyota wants to help keep you and your family safe, and also save you money at the pump with over 40 miles to the gallon. But hopefully this gave you a nice, cohesive, roundabout review of what it's like to drive the RAV4. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up and get back to where it all started. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been actually a really fun time with this Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. I definitely want to thank Corey and everybody at Toyota for allowing me access to these vehicles so that I could do them a little bit more in depth and really bring the lowdown of the good side and the bad sides of the RAV4. But if these are the types of things that you like to see on the channel, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on Rady's Rides, click the link, get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Got to give it up to Big Guns McGee, Tom Moschner. He's liking this RAV4. You know why? He figured out that he could actually put more protein in the back of this RAV4 than any other of the recent CUVs that we have tested here on Rady's Rides. So thank you, Tom, for figuring that out. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.